January 17, 1950, Boston. A quiet winter night blanketed in snow. But behind the cold silence, something was stirring. 11 men, armed with patience, precision, and a thirst for fortune, were about to commit one of the most infamous robberies in American history. 35 minutes. $30 million in today's money. Gone. This is the real-life heist that would inspire generations of Hollywood scripts. A tale of meticulous planning, quiet betrayal, and a single man whose vengeance destroyed it all. Welcome to ThinkTrail, and this is the true story of the Brinks job, America's real Ocean's 11. The Fort Knox of Boston. In post-war Boston, one building stood out from the rest, not because of its beauty, but because of what it held. Brinks Incorporated was a financial stronghold used to store money, checks, and other valuables. The depot was considered impenetrable. It had 5 locked doors, alarm systems, armed guards, and a reputation for being unbreakable. But Anthony Pino saw an opportunity. He wasn't a criminal mastermind, just a seasoned thief from Boston's North End, and he was fascinated by the idea of breaching this fortress. The crew, realizing he couldn't do it alone, Pino turned to Joseph McGinnis, a man deeply entrenched in Boston's criminal underworld. Together, they began to form a crew. Joseph Specs O'Keefe and Stanley Gussiora, both known for muscle and intimidation. Vincent Costa was chosen as the lookout. John Banfield would drive the getaway vehicle. James Faraday, Michael Keegan, Thomas Richardson, Henry Baker, and Adolph Maffei were brought in for their experience with armed robbery and burglary. Each man had a role, each was handpicked, and together they would pull off the job of the century. Years of planning. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment job. It was 3 years in the making. They studied the depot's routine, learned employee schedules, and discovered how shipments were made. Pino even figured out that they could slowly steal and replicate door lock cylinders, then return them without anyone noticing. They stole a green 1949 Ford truck and practiced their escape route over and over. They designed disguises, navy peacoats, gloves, chauffeur hats, and rubber Halloween masks to conceal their identities. They made several attempts, pulling back each time, waiting for the perfect night. The night of the heist, January 17, 1950. Everything was ready. The crew met in Roxbury, then drove toward the Brinks depot under the cover of darkness. Inside, a few employees were counting money and wrapping up for the night. Suddenly, the robbers burst in, brandishing weapons. The employees were tied up and gagged. Within minutes, the vault was emptied. In just 35 minutes, they escaped with $1.5 million in cash and even more in checks and securities. Adjusted for inflation, over $30 million today. They disappeared into the night without a single shot fired. The perfect crime. The police and FBI swarmed the scene, but they found little. A hat, some tape, and a group of terrified employees who described the men as calm, robotic, and professional. The investigation dragged on. Brinks offered a $100,000 reward. Witnesses came forward. Someone mentioned seeing a green truck. Eventually, parts of that stolen truck were found in a dump. But without solid evidence, the trail went cold. The statute of limitations on federal charges was 3 years. State charges? 6. All the robbers had to do was stay quiet and out of trouble. Cracks in the armor, but staying quiet proved difficult. O'Keefe and Gussiora couldn't resist pulling more jobs. They were arrested in Pennsylvania and sent to prison. From behind bars, O'Keefe started demanding financial help from his former crew. They ignored him. Then came the tipping point. O'Keefe kidnapped Costa, one of the crew, and demanded ransom. Tensions escalated. 2 assassination attempts were made on O'Keefe's life. He survived both. Eventually, broke, bitter, and alone, O'Keefe did what the FBI had been hoping for since day one. He flipped. The fall of the 11. On January 6, 1956, just 11 days before the state's statute of limitations expired, O'Keefe confessed everything. The FBI arrested the remaining crew members. Banfield had already died. Gussiora died in prison after an injury. The rest were tried, convicted, and sentenced to life for armed robbery. O'Keefe, the man who broke the silence, received a reduced sentence. Where's the money? Despite the arrests, most of the money was never recovered. Years later, a stash of decomposing bills linked to the heist was found in Baltimore, hidden behind a wall. But over $1.1 million remains missing to this day. Buried? Burned? Spent? No one knows. The Great Brinks robbery wasn't just a theft. It was a symbol of planning, patience, and the fragility of loyalty under pressure. It was the perfect heist until human nature got in the way. If you love stories of unsolved mysteries, perfect crimes, and the secrets they leave behind, you're already on the right trail. This is ThinkTrail. Subscribe for more.